Today on Commander Replay, we ride into battle with Syr Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale. Is Syr Gwyn the greatest Voltron commander ever printed? Find out next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. We have 2 new Patreon supporters in Brandon Drennan and Colin Mead. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon at the link below. Welcome back, everyone. Super excited. Syr Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale, playing some hard Voltron today. Take a look at our opening hand. We've got some mana, we've got some ramp, but we've got some more ramp, and we've got some card draw. That looks like a keeper to me. It's going to be a pretty good opening hand. We got the Mana Crypt opener. Mana Crypt, pretty OP. So I'm super excited about this deck. Nothing makes me happier than a knight with a big flaming sword. I can cut things in half and barbecue them all at the same time. Super excited. So let's take a look at what Syr Gwyn actually does. It's 3 and Mardu for a 5/5 with Vigilance and Menace. Whenever an equipped creature you control attacks, you draw a card and lose a life, and equipment you control have equipped knight 0. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that free equip thing. I realize most of my paper decks are actually Voltron decks. They all have a lot of equipments in them. I really need to go out of my way to build a deck that's not equipment-based, and yeah, I just love equipments. I don't know why. They make me so happy. Anyway, let's lay down this... What are we playing? We could probably actually go Sacred Foundry tapped to set up the Isolated Chapel. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Okay, so Sacred Foundry tapped, Mana Crypt, Sword of the Animist. One thing we don't have yet is Haste. Hopefully we can catch a Haste equipment off the top. Get everything suited onto Syr Gwyn and start doing that whole game. Uh-oh, that's a Grindstone coming down for our opponent. That seems good. And now's a good time to talk about that. Take a look at what our opponents are playing. So another new card out of Eldraine. Syr Konrad the Grim, being piloted by Tyrant of Ruin. 3 black. For a 5/4, it says, whenever another creature dies, or a creature card is put into the graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, or a creature card leaves your graveyard, Syr Konrad deals 1 damage to each opponent, and then you pay 1 in black. Each player puts a top card of their library into a graveyard. And by the looks of it, opponent's got a Grindstone in play. They may be doing the Painter's Servant combo. We have a decent amount of removal in our deck, but I don't know that we're super well equipped to handle Syr Konrad. I think Syr Konrad is going to be a very powerful commander. Well, there's a Rest in Peace. That actually shuts off Syr Konrad, so we're going to do everything in our power to keep that Rest in Peace nice and safe. We are a Sunforger deck, by the way, and Syr Gwyn, probably one of the greatest Sunforger commanders out there. And I say that with this being my very first game with the deck, but free equips make Sunforger very happy. Anyway, yeah, we want to keep that Rest in Peace in play, because that's how we stop Syr Konrad from winning. We draw into an All Is Dust, not what we're looking for right now, but it'll probably find a way to be useful later on. Let's get the Isolated Chapel into play. That'll come in untapped. We'll get the Mask of Memory. And then we'll pass the turn like that. Now, one thing about this deck is it does have a lot of artifacts, and it's just going to be weak to Austere Command and Vandal Blast. That's just a thing that we have to live with. Demonic Tutor for the Syr Konrad. Oh yeah, this seems bad. This seems bad. I mean, next turn we may need to leave up Fairy's Protection just to not lose to the Grindstone. Here comes a Grand Abolisher. Oh, that's an interesting card. That does shut off our Teferi's Protection at certain points in time, so that's something we'll need to be careful of. I guess we have about 2 turns on the Painter's Servant, so if they cast Painter's Servant next turn, they assumingly won't have the mana to Grindstone in the same turn. Happily Ever After! Happily Ever After enters the battlefield, each player gains 5 life and draws a card. And they have, at the beginning of their upkeep, if there are 5 colors among permanents you control, and there are 6 or more card types among permanents you control, and or in your graveyard, and your life total is greater than or equal to your starting life total, you win the game. Currently, their life total is greater. Their number of colors is 3, and I do not believe they have 6 permanent types yet. We got land, creature, enchantment. Okay, so we are also safe on that for a brief moment. All Is Dust may be looking a little bit better. Oh, yeah. So there's the thing to think about. Painter's Servant will turn everything into a color, which means All Is Dust will hit... Oh god, is that going to blow up all the lands? It might. Well, that might be a thing that we have to do. Cloud of Fairies into the Darien opponent. Yeah, Darien at 45 life. Also, once their commander comes in, there's not really a way to... Attacking them kind of becomes a bad idea, so...
Oh my, this game. This game is escalating quickly. Land tax trigger for the Darien. Getting caught up on our opponents, by the way. I haven't announced that many other things. There's a Bloom Tender and a Cloud of Fairies in play for the Kenrith, the Returned King. Kenrith being piloted by Chaotix 2075, by the way. Kenrith looks very, very strong. There is a lot of abilities on that card. The one that obviously gets me excited is red. All creatures gain trample and haste until end of turn. That is a really powerful effect. If you just cough out a bunch of stuff late in the game and just pay a red to give them all haste, that's how you win a game. It's pretty good. Not to mention that if you have mana and other things that you need to do, you can sink mana into it. Obviously, it reminds me of Staff of Domination a little bit, and that card is bonkers. It's probably slightly less good than that, but still very, very good in my opinion. Opponent plays a extra planar lens, puts the snow-covered plains under it. Unfortunately, that's not going to help us at all. I don't think we have any snow-covers in the deck, so that makes me sad. I was hoping to get a little bit of help right there, but what can you do? Brings it back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. Won the flip. There's a True Conviction. It's interesting. Let's start by playing the Knight of the White Orchid, because that's just smart. While we're doing this, I actually have to look up... Yeah, Painter's Servant turns everything into a color, including lands, and all his dust blows up all colored permanents, so we would effectively be completely resetting the board with an all is dust. Maybe that's what we try to set up and do? I know we need to get the Mistveil Plains at some point, but I also don't want that to get blown up. But we can get both of these equipments attached to the Knight of the White Orchid, although I'm going to go for Plateau right here. Then going to lay down the Command Tower. We could have still gotten Mistveil Plains. I forgot Masking Memory is only one. Whoops. Hopefully that doesn't bite us. Equip the sword onto the knight. Equip the mask onto the knight. Like I said, I think we have one more turn before Painter's Servant comes down, and they have the ability to pay for the grindstone. So our plan is going to be this. Our plan is going to be try to get the 10 mana to All is Dust and to Fairy's Protection all at the same time. Because that will be an easy win. There's a Mesmeric Orb. Okay. Syr Konrad Mill? Is that what we're doing? With Rest in Peace in play, everything will just go straight into exile. Opponent's going to mill a bunch. Opponent's going to lay down a Zendikar Resurgent. Yeah, that's a good one. We were having some interesting discussion about Happily Ever After and Rest in Peace in play. So we were discussing it in the comments, and there's a really interesting interaction with Rest in Peace and Happily Ever After. Because of the Rest in Peace, two card types can never exist in play. Those are instants and sorceries. Those have to be in the graveyard, which means that theoretically, opponents should only ever be able to have 4 card types under their control at the same time. Here comes a Solemn Simulacrum for our opponent. Now, I believe Tribal is also a card type, which would give them 5, but I think that still makes them 1 short. But I'd also have to look the rules up on that, because I know Tribal was one of those weird things that they didn't really like that they did, so I don't know if they've actually changed the rules on Tribal or not over the years at this point. So, also, a Pearl Medallion is in for the Darien. It's going to make their white spells cheaper. It seems pretty good. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Mana Crypt flip. We'll go Tails. Won the flip, staying at 42. Ooh, we draw a Dowsing Dagger. Sweet. Well, we're probably going at Syr Konrad. We'll just hope they don't have spot removal. Play the Homeward Path. Play Dowsing Dagger. Tough choice right here. How much mana will we have? We will have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If we do that, then we can't afford to cast our Commander. I think I'm going to wait on the Commander just 1 second. I think I'd rather go, because if we flip the Dowsing Dagger over, that'll give us 3 extra mana. We should be able to do more things in the second main. Yeah, I think I like all that. So let's go Dowsing Dagger. Kenrith already has a bunch of small blockers, so I'm just going to give them the tokens since I don't really plan to go over there this moment in time. Done everything else we need to do. Oh, no. Oh, I forgot to equip the thing. Oh, God. Yep, there we are. All right. Well, that's going to hurt quite a bit. Swing over to the Syr Konrad opponent. Get a Sword of the Animus trigger. Let's get Plains. A lot of white cost. This deck is primarily white. It's going to be mostly white costs. Yeah, that hurts. That's a pretty big punt right there. Mask of Memory will trigger. We draw Land Thornbite Staff. That's interesting. Oh, man, I'd like to make my next land drop. Thornbite Staff is part of a combo with Heartseeker, and one that I hope to execute at some point in this game. Guess it's going to be the land, because anything we discard isn't coming back because of the Rest in Peace. So I think with that punt right there, we go Thornbite Staff, and then just sit on Teferi's Protection. Yeah, first game I filmed in about a week, so yeah, can't believe I missed that right there. Whoops. Yeah, opponent's going to put a Vampiric Link on our Knight of the White Orchid, so whenever we do damage to them, they'll gain that much life back, so, you know, We'll still get the triggers, but they'll gain the life back, so it won't be impacting their life total negatively. Here comes a Milliken. Put the top card of your library into a graveyard and add a colorless. So yeah, it looks like Syr Konrad the Grim Mill. Oh, our final opponent, by the way, is Firemaker 282, piloting Darien, King of Kjeldor. Whenever you're dealt damage, you may create that many 1/1 white soldier tokens. It gets really hard to attack a Darien once they're in play. You pretty much need to alpha strike them and completely kill them because they get so many creatures if they survive the hit. So I've definitely lost to that in the past. It's not a deck that I've seen a lot recently, so I wonder what kind of upgrades they've gotten over the years. I know it was one of the better commanders, especially as far as mono white goes, 4 or 5 years back. But yeah, curious about what kind of upgrades they got. Sure, there's some things to be doing with tokens. I know Anointed Procession is a card. Here comes Kenrith, the Returned King. Yep. Now, unfortunately, this Milliken is a blocker to our Knight of the White Orchid. We no longer have an open path to anyone, which makes me a little disappointed. There are a number of things we could draw off the top, though, that would help us get through for that damage. But we don't have anything in our hand or in the command zone that necessarily lets us through. Kenrith's going to activate the card draw ability and draw themselves a card. Yeah. Opponent currently has 3 colors and 3 card types. It's cool that they tell you that now. Back in the day, you used to have to count it yourself, and that was not great. Oh, we should take a look to see what got exiled, by the way. We lost Enlightened Tutor, Chaos Warp, Leonin Abunus, and Steel Shaper's Gift. That's 2 tutors down. That actually hurts a bit. Means we can't just, dig for the thing we want. Grand Abolisher into the Syr Konrad opponent, as well as the Cloud of Fairies. Nope, gonna hold the Cloud of Fairies back. And they're gonna send it once again. Gonna send just the Cloud of Fairies, okay. So Mesmeric Orb and Land Tax will trigger for the Darien, yep. Let's see what they've got exiled. Gatekeeper, Thran Dynamo, Swords to Plowshares, Scavenger Grounds, Teferi's Protection. Ouch, that hurts. That's a big card to lose. I mean, that's literally one of the best cards in white. Chaotix has lost Mirari's Wake, Vampiric Tutor, some lands. Oh, yeah, he did say it was a Towers deck. We were talking about it earlier. He's playing the Tower Cycle. Nice. Biomancer's familiar? Yeah, okay. There's a Crush Contraband on Zendikar Resurgent and Mesmeric Orb. That sounds great to me. Yeah. Not the threat at the table for once. How about that? Ooh, got a new card. Usher to Safety. Return target permanent you control to its owner's hand. That is a 1 mana instant. That's not bad. That is not bad. And you can also cast it as a 3/1 vanilla. So the question I have is, do you ever actually want to play it as a 3/1 vanilla? Maybe if you need, just a blocker to throw in front of something, but... these adventure cards are going to be interesting because they're hard for me to evaluate without actually seeing them. There is just inherent value out of being able to play a card twice, so, that is something to think about. I think there's a black one that kills a creature when it comes in, one of the knights. That one actually seems pretty sweet. Oh, that's a Knight Captain of Eos. That's kind of scary. Knight Captain has the ability to fog repeatedly, and let me guess, Darien makes soldier tokens? Darien does in fact make soldier tokens, so it may be hard to get combat damage in. And it's going to make 2 soldiers on the way in, and here comes a Phyrexian Altar. Ugh, all the stuff is getting going. And Kenrith's going to give everything haste and trample. That's interesting. See where they want to point all that. And with the altar in play, yeah, things are happening. I'm pretty sad about losing this Steel Shaper's Gift, quite honestly. Enlightened Tutor is sweet too, but yeah, those tutors are things that we could use. It's going to bring it back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. We draw planes, play the planes. Let's get our commander. Let's do the free equip thing. I think we're still just swinging into the Syr Konrad opponent because it's the only way we can really try to get in anywhere. We will get a Sword of the Animus trigger and a Syr Gwyn trigger, so we get to draw a card and lose a life, so that is helpful. That's a Sulphurous Blast. That's how you deal with a Darien deck. Get ourselves another land. Seem to have a lot of white. I think we could actually get a second red right here, just for the Sulphurous Blast, just to be sure. Opponent doesn't block, which is awesome, so now Dousing Dagger is going to flip over, and Mask of Memory will trigger, and they'll gain that life back with the Vampiric Link. Sweet. I was worried that they were going to block just to deny us the value, but it goes through. Ooh, yeah, we draw a Silverblade Paladin and a Mountain. Guess we're going to discard the Mountain, and Dousing Dagger will flip over. So Dousing Dagger flips into the Lost Veil. We're going to play the Silverblade Paladin. I was thinking about waiting on it just so opponents wouldn't see it. We've got open mana, and I just want to use the mana. Plus, we've got the Fairies Protection, so we can keep ourselves protected, which I like. We're going to Soul Bond with our commander. I'm going to move the Thornbite Staff to our commander just on the off chance. I can't imagine that it'll get haste for any reason, but it could. Right now, Sulphurous Blast is pretty much a one-sided board wipe against our opponents. If we could find another equipment to pump up the Silverblade Paladin... Ooh, there's an Archfiend of Depravity. At the beginning of each opponent's end step, that player chooses up to 2 creatures they control and sacrifices the rest. That may draw some hate. Oh, that's going to be great against our opponents. Our deck has 11 creatures in it, so our deck has so few creatures. If opponents have removal, I think they're going to try to fire at that Archfiend, because they are definitely doing more of a go-wide kind of thing at the moment. It's been an odd game so far. A lot of things that haven't quite been expecting. A lot of artifacts in play. This All Is Dust really isn't looking like as good as it usually is. I guess that's a product of a mono-white player. You know, they're going to have more artifacts than a lot of decks. Would hit the Rest in Peace, but I think we want to keep that right where it is. Tower of Champions, nice. I have definitely used Tower of Champions in the past. Gives a creature +6/+6 until end of turn for the low cost of 8 mana. Unfortunately, that does give them a response to Sulphurous Blast, so Sulphurous Blast will not be the mega board wipe that we're hoping it would be. Opponent gonna draw themselves another card, yeah. Came up on Twitter recently, the likeness of Kenrith the Returned King to Arthur from Monty Python and the Holy Grail is pretty funny. Pretty funny. So opponent will go to the end step, Archfiend of Depravity is gonna trigger. They're gonna have to sacrifice down to 2 creatures. My guess would be like Bloom Tender and Kenrith? Maybe the Grand Abolisher, but I'm probably on the Bloom Tender. Yeah, so Bloom Tender, I guess they could recast their commander, but does it make sense to do that if you can only have 2 at the end step anyway? So, yeah, they keep Kenrith and the Bloom Tender. Grand Abolisher gone. That is good for us, won't mess up timings on our Teferi's Protection, which is good. Man, that Archfiend got quite a few things. I feel like it's a card that I've looked at in the past for stuff like Shieldred, and I don't know, I just always felt like it wasn't quite good enough, but... sacrifice 3 creatures. Well, got a bunch. You got the Grand Abolisher, the Cloud of Fairies, and the tokens, so it's pretty good. Gonna eat some tokens for Darien as well, probably the Solemn Simulacrum. Opponent sacrifices the Solemn Simulacrum. Yeah, that makes sense. Gonna get themselves a Darien. Yep. So we're now on the must kill them in one swing plan. So this will be interesting because Knight Captain is a knight, not a soldier. Assuming the opponent will sacrifice these 2 soldiers at the end step, unless they have removal right here. And that means they won't be able to fog. Kenrith is going to give all creatures haste until end of turn. Okay, yeah. That means Syr Gwyn has haste, and if we want to... The other 2 opponents are tapped out, so at the end step we may Thornbite Staff something. We'll see. Millikin would be ideal, just so we can keep getting those sword triggers in. No attacks. Okay. Oh, maybe we shoot the... Yeah, we shoot the Bloom Tender. That's the thing we shoot. So opponent's going to have to sacrifice down to 2 creatures. Yep. And it's now at the end step. I feel pretty good that there isn't going to be like an instant speed board wipe. There could be a Swords to Plowshares. Actually, no. Swords got exiled. Could still be a Path. Path would be annoying, but going to try it. We're going to shoot the Bloom Tender. Oh, with Thornbites, the Thornbite Staff combo isn't going to work right now because of the Rest in Peace. The creature needs to die, which means it needs to go to the graveyard, and with Rest in Peace in play, it will not do that. It'll go straight into exile. So we shoot the Bloom Tender into exile. Untap before anyone notices. Cool, so we've untapped. Brings it back to our turn. Mana Crypt flip. Won the flip. We draw a mountain. Play the mountain. Maybe we should have held the mountain just in case we need to discard it. We're going to have to sacrifice down. We're definitely going to sacrifice the Knight of the White Orchid at the end step if we can't get rid of the Archfiend. Interestingly, okay, opponent has this damage land in place so they can make a soldier in response to us attacking, which is not ideal. So we probably don't want to go that way just yet. Where are we moving equipments to? Oh, Kenrith is wide open, yeah. We've got Menace on Syr Gwyn, so I think that is a place that makes sense to go. Move the Thornbite Staff over to the... Where's everything else going? Move that to the Knight of the White Orchid. Move Mask of Memory to Syr Gwyn. And move Sword of the Animist over to Silverblade Paladin. This will get us the most card draw. Those both have double strike already. We'll get Lifelink. Lifelink is cool. Yeah, I think we just play the True Conviction right now. Cool. Let's go to combat. Wow, it's only turn 6. We've got a bajillion lands, and I feel good about this turn 6. So we're going to get to draw 3 times. We'll get a Sword of the Animist trigger. We'll lose 3 life, but with True Conviction out, we should gain some life back unless opponent wants to fog all this. We draw a Solemn Simulacrum. Sweet. We draw an Austere Command. That's the card we need. Does make me sad about There's a Boros Charm. Oh, yeah, all the hits. The hits keep on coming. All my favorite cards in one deck. And I've drawn all of them. We get ourselves a land. Let's get another white, because a lot of white costs in the deck. So opponent's going to block our Knight of the White Orchid. That's totally fine. Mask of Memory will hit. Syr Konrad opponent will gain a life off Vampiric Link. Mask of Memory triggers. Let's see what we hit. We get 2 lands. Discard the Dragon Skull Summit. Hainware Battlements is really good in this deck. I did a deck tech on Syr Gwyn, which you should check out if you haven't already. And haste is really, really important in this deck, because if we get hit with a board wipe, haste is going to allow you to recast your commander and then just suit everything up again and really go wild. So double strike happens. We hit with the Mask of Memory once again. There's a Painful Truths. There's a Wear Tear. Ooh, Wear Tear is a card. We have a lot of card draw. I don't know that we need Painful Truths at this point. I think we can discard the Painful Truths. I feel like we're doing okay on the card draw department. We have 8 cards in our hand on the second main phase here. Probably gonna Wear Tear on something. What? I don't know. Rest in Peace is a little bit awkward, but it also is shutting down the Konrad deck. Altar is a bit scary. Gotta be careful of Happily Ever After 4-card types in the graveyard. So they need to be on 6. That's probably one worth shooting at some point. Maybe we'll just go ahead and do that now. Let's get rid of the mana doubler right there also. A lot of things worth shooting. I think Altar feels like it can lead to the most problems. Mana doubling is good, but you kind of know what your opponent's getting out of it. Altar can be very surprising in, like, if opponent damages themselves a bunch, then they get 20 tokens, then they've got, like, way too much mana. So I'm going to go Altar and Happily Ever After right here. So Happily Ever After and Altar down. And I think I'm just going to pass like that. We have only 2 creatures in play, so we won't need to sacrifice it all. Choose our 2 creatures. Opponent's going to Grindstone on the Darien player. I'm actually curious to see what happens here with Rest in Peace. Okay, nothing untoward happens with Rest in Peace in play. They just mill a couple. It doesn't have the Helm of Obedience type wording, so it doesn't cause any significant problems. Pitkeeper coming in. Notably is a blocker against our Menace and the sword triggers that we want to keep firing off. Could have re-equipped the Thornbite Staff. I forgot to do that. Soul Rain coming down for our opponent. Yep. Opponent's going to replay their Zendikar Resurgent. Oh, that must have been the card they bounced. Okay, yeah, they got doubled mana. There's no tapping involved on Kenrith, so yeah, if you got a lot of mana, you can do a lot of stuff. Tarnished Citadel, there's one you don't see much of. Add 1 mana of any color, does 3 damage to you. Yeah, it's pretty good. They can make some tokens. Off the top, I'm kind of just looking for like a big finishing equipment, like a Blackblade Reforged would be really good right now. We are lacking Trample. Something with some Trample on it wouldn't be terrible either. It's going to bring it back to our turn. Opponent doesn't do anything during their main phase. There's the Trample. Interesting. I wonder if they're sitting on like a Route. That's a card we might want to be careful of. Or if they're just planning to do everything kind of end step or whenever needed. Because they can make 4 tokens right there. So let's play the Hainware Battlements. Let's play the Chariot of Victory. I'm thinking about the Solemn Simulacrum right here. I don't feel like we need to board wipe just yet. I'm really trying to get opponents to like super overcommit before I start laying down the board wipes. Let's play the Solemn Simulacrum. We'll get the extra ramp. And oh, we won't get the card draw when it dies. Yep. Forgot about that. Still more ramp though. Let's get our last planes. Why not? We'll throw some haste on the Solemn Simulacrum. It will have double strike and lifelink. I think I'm going to keep our commander on the Kenrith opponent and send Silverblade and Solemn over to the Konrad opponent. Sword of the Animus will trigger, and we will get 3 card draws. Oh, that card draw is so good. I'm probably going to have to refilm a part of my deck tech because that card draw is way better than I gave it credit for. We draw a Cavalier, Return to Dust, and there's the Sword of the Animus trigger. Oh, and we draw a Soul Ring. Yep. Get our last basic. Last basic into play. This is a removal-heavy deck, and we have drawn most of it. I just need to find the equipments. Where be the equipments? Opponent going to do some blocking with the Pitkeeper. Yep. Mask of Memory will trigger. We draw more cards. Whew, it's a lot of stuff. There's a Swords. Swords is a card to think about. Discard the Rugged Prairie. I need to add a Thought Vessel and a Reliquary Tower to this deck. I did not realize how much card drawing I was going to be doing. There's a Pure Steel Paladin. Need to shoot the Archfiend first before that's really a thing. What are we discarding? Oh my, we have so many good cards in hand. Honestly, Soul Ring? Like, discarding Soul Ring? I want everything else. Oh man. Wow. Oh, the choices are tough. Probably Return to Dust. Actually, I think the card that's probably most problematic for us is the Knight Captain of Eos, so I think I'm just going to lay that down now, since Solemn will die anyway. And yeah, seems like a fine time to use it. We'll want to do it at the end step as not to kill our Silverblade Paladin. I mean, we could just Boros Charm. Yeah, we could just Boros Charm while Steer Command. That gets 2 cards out of our hand. Maybe we discard the Cavalier? I don't know, I like the Cavalier. I like all of these cards. No. I guess let's free equip on our commander before we forget to do that. Okay, I'm back on Return to Dust, Zendikar Resurgent, and Extraplanar Lens, I guess. Move to end step, choose 2 creatures, choose our commander, choose the Paladin, sacrifice the Solemn Simulacrum. I guess we discard the Sulphurous Blast, actually, because, I mean, it's decent, but Pure Steel Paladin is a knight. We can do more attacking. Oh, yeah. So is Cavalier. Cavalier is a really good knight. I think we're okay without Pure Steel Paladin. We don't need the card draw. Our commander's in play. We don't need the free equip. So, I guess we're passing like that. Here comes Soul of Innistrad, Death Touch. Return up to 3 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Yep, that's not going to work with Rest in Peace in play. We got lucky that our opponents both kind of hosed each other. Archfiend hosing the Darien, and Darien hosing the Konrad with the Rest in Peace. Opponent's going to give their commander +6/+6. Cool, let's see where this goes. Probably to Darien? It's an 11/11. Sure. It's got haste and trample. Gonna send it over to the Darien. Yep, that'll give Darien a lot of tokens. Immediately regretting discarding the Sulphurous Blast. Oh, we could have double striked the Kenrith. Well, I guess they would have fogged. They just would have fogged if they did that. But all right, so yeah, not so worried about it. Oh, okay, opponent wants no part of it. They're just gonna fog anyway. Cool. I thought they would take the 11 tokens and try to attack with it somewhere, but nope. Opponent plays at Grand Coliseum, another land that does damage to them. Yep, that's the trend with Darien decks. Darien has been strangely sitting there, not doing much. They have 9 cards in hand. Oh, and I think Chaotix messed up the trigger with Archfiend and didn't choose his commander, and then it got sacrificed because it is gone now. Yeah, now's probably just a good time to shoot that Knight Captain of Eos. So let's go ahead and do that. That card will just cause problems for us. So Knight Captain of Eos down. Opponent no longer has a fog. Wow, we're down to 55 cards in our library. We have looked at a lot of cards this game. Losing the flip on the Mana Crypt right here. That's okay, though. We're going to go down to 63. That's a Demonic Tutor. Oh, God, I don't even know what to go for. Oh, man. I guess we start by playing the Demonic Tutor. We are a Sunforger deck, but we've got most of our removal in our hands. Like, I really don't feel like I need Sunforger, to be completely honest. Although, Sunforger is +4 power, which is almost lethal. It's not quite. Maybe we're just on, like, Blackblade Reforged. Maybe we're on Assault Suit. Ooh, Argentum Armor is a card. Argentum Armor is lethal damage and removal? Probably Argentum Armor. But Assault Suit is really funny. It's not lethal yet, though. I think it's Assault Suit time. I know Argentum Armor is the correct play, but yeah. I don't know that there's going to be a better time to do it, because one opponent's low on cards, Chaotix is about to die, so this is probably the best time to do it. Oh, it can't be sacrificed. Play Assault Suit. Opponent's going to make a white mana with Darien. Okay. Get themselves 3 tokens. Sure. Make themselves more tokens. Why not? Equip Assault Suit to Syr Gwyn. Equip the Chariot to Syr Gwyn. Do we need to Cavalier anything? I don't know. Leave up the Homeward Path just in case anyone tries to do anything to our commander. That might be not amazing. Yeah, I think we'll go to combat like this and just hold on to our mana. So, send both to Chaotix. Sword of the Animus will trigger. Syr Gwyn will trigger twice. We'll get 2 more card draws. Drawing so many cards. There's a Comeuppance. That's actually really good. That's a card that I want to hold up against Darien. We're all out of basic lands. Whoops, forgot about that. Put the mana base together very quickly before the game. I got very excited because I didn't think Syr Gwyn was actually coming out yet. And I got very excited about building the deck. And I actually forgot to put black mana in the first time that I built it because I copied the mana base over from an Aurelia deck. And yeah. So Chaotix takes a hit, goes down, and Mask of Memory will trigger. Ooh, we draw a Hammer of Nazan and Kinsbale Cavalier. Gonna discard the land right here. Double Strike still goes through because of the way MTGO works. Opponents can't, like, die during combat, essentially, so we get a hit. Should have hit no, actually, on that. Well, we hit it. There's a Mox Opal. Discard the Mox Opal, not needing that at this moment in time. Play Blackblade Reforged. Equip Blackblade Reforged. Play Hammer of Nazan. Put that on Syr Gwyn. Syr Gwyn's now got 21 power. It is indestructible and cannot be sacrificed. That got 23 power. I guess we pass like that. Archfiend will trigger at the end step. Gotta make sure we don't mess this up. Discard the Kinsbale Cavalier. Opponent's turn. Assault Suit will trigger. I think we'll give them control. Is it still soul bonded? I think it is. It doesn't say double strike anywhere. It makes me suspicious. Oh no. Okay, so the control breaks. So soul bond says as long as you control both of them, we no longer control Syr Gwyn. Opponent gets to draw a card and lose life. Sending a lethal Syr Gwyn over to the Darien. Opponent's going to do some blocking. We will Boros Charm and give double strike. Opponent says, really? There's hit number one. Mask of Memory will trigger. Darien will trigger. We get to draw with the Mask of Memory, by the way, because we still control it. There's an Ancient Tomb and a Boros Signet. Get rid of the Signet, I guess. Assault Suit is like the best card that does not see nearly enough play. I mean, I know it's slow and expensive and a lot of bad things can happen when you Assault Suit stuff, but oh man, it's so much fun. 42 commander damage into our opponent's second Mask of Memory trigger. There's an Inspiring Statuary. That's actually a lot of mana ramp. Discard Ancient Tomb, I guess. Let's see how this can't be sacrificed thing goes. I'm worried that it might actually break Moto with the Archfiend and the Assault Suit ability. I actually don't know what just happened. Opponent did something. Oh, opponent used the Thornbite Staff ability on Milliken. Okay. Opponent's gonna Grindstone themselves, sure. Here's a Bitter Blossom and a Basilisk Collar. And then they're gonna use the Syr Konrad ability. Opponent did say they had a turn 5 win, by the way, but the Rest in Peace stopped them, so we did get a bit lucky there. So it does look like a very strong deck. I'm not sure if they were going for Painter Servant or not, or if there's some other combo with Grindstone. I don't know all the interactions on Syr Konrad yet. First time I'm seeing it, so. Let's see if Moto breaks right here with this Archfiend. And, is that each opponent? At the beginning of each opponent. Okay, so it doesn't affect you. Okay. Brings it back to our turn. A Mana Crypt flip. Guts go tails. Won the flip. Draw and open the armory. Go to combat. Send in Syr Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale. Put this big flaming sword to use. We get to draw one card. It's a Thran Dynamo. Opponent's going to try to do some blocking. We do have double strike and trample, so we should be good. So we're going to get 9 on the first hit. Mask of Memory will trigger. 2 Thornbite Staff triggers. We'll lose a little bit of life to Syr Konrad. Not too bad. We're up to 102. Now go down to 100 after this. And we draw 2 more cards. Got to discard a card. I guess it's going to be the Thran Dynamo. And opponent dies of commander damage. Yeah. Oh, we did so much damage that game. Oh, Voltron decks. Voltron plus Assault Suit. Yeah. So we had 38 cards left in our library. I think we milled maybe about 10 from the Mesmeric Orb, give or take. Wow. Yeah. This deck just makes me happy. This deck makes me so happy. So I have most of these cards, but I have 1 copy of most of these cards. So I can have 1 expensive equipment deck at any given time. I am probably going to switch my paper deck. Currently that deck is Feather Equipment. It was a Kiri Bruce for a while. It used to be Aurelia. It's been a lot of things at this point. But my 1 equipment deck of Stoneforge Mystic, 1 copy of Fire and Ice, that is probably going to be going to Syr Gwyn, Hero of Ashvale, and paper. Yeah, this deck was fun. Now, I think we did get a little bit lucky in that we got the early Knight of the White Orchid. It did give us a creature to attack with early. The creature count in this deck is super low. And maybe it's true that this deck needs just a couple more creatures. We drew a ton of removal. The deck is supposed to have a lot of removal. It is a Sunforger deck, after all. But we had, like, a lot of removal. Opponents weren't really, like, doing enough that We had 2 board wipes, and I really just didn't feel the need to play either of them. And I mean, we could have done the austere command Boros Charm thing at some point, but it just didn't seem necessary based on what was happening. So we had it if it was there. I actually felt like I wanted another equipment or 2 also. I was looking for something that was just going to power up Syr Gwyn just a bit more, speed up our clock a bit, and we didn't really find that. So all in all, I like this deck. It does need a little bit of balancing. We saw the Thornbite Staff. Thornbite Staff is probably one of the least useful cards without the combo. With the combo, you can just destroy every creature in play, which is cool. At least every opponent's creature. So that's pretty sweet. But yeah, by itself, Thornbite Staff was a little bit lacking, but we did shoot a Bloom Tender, and, Bloom Tender, pretty good card. So there are things with 1 toughness that occasionally need to be shot. But all in all, I thought the deck played pretty well. The only thing we weren't super well set up for is a turn 5 combo win against the Syr Konrad opponent, but luckily one of our other opponents had us covered. Oh, we did have Rakdos Charm in the deck. I was hoping that Darien would really get going and get the Rakdos Charm win, but that didn't happen today. But anyway, still need to do a little bit of balancing, try to get the number of equipments just right. This is a deck you can run a lot of equipments in this deck. Like, I think you can build this deck similarly to Balin, in which you run tons and tons of equipments, because you just lay them all out there, cast your commander, and then free equip them all, and then you are hitting things real hard. So anyway, yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching.